Welcome to Deep Cuts the Game, the movie trivia podcast with great movies and great guests. Every week I bring on three interesting people from the world of entertainment, give them three movies, and challenge them to pull out the most obscure actors they can. The deeper the cut, the more points they earn. I'm your host, Jeff Penn, and with me as always, a man who, if he was an ex-president, it would be James K. Polk, Alex Young. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Is it a real president?
Exactly. That's how far down we had to go to the ex-presidents to find. It was not either that or like Chester something. I don't know. I don't know my presidents very well, Alex. So.
Clearly. We're in the wrong country. We don't have those.
How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. How you doing? I'm excited for today's game.
Yeah, this is a good one. We've got two guests with us, and normally we have you and then a friend. And hopefully Sarah becomes a friend of the show.
Now we have me and an enemy.
Yeah, we have. But I was writing up John's intro for today, and I was like, you know what, I should do one for Sarah as well. And then I was like, oh, Sarah is I don't want to use the word important, Alex, but she has a much bigger reach than we do.
You can say she's more interesting than me. That's okay.
She is.
That's allowed.
So let's introduce Sarah.
That's a stretch.
We're joined by a true pop culture powerhouse. She's a writer, host, entertainment expert, and winner of Big Brother Canada. I did not know that. From reality TV champion to sharp cultural commentator, she has covered everything from celebrity chaos to red carpets and reality show drama. Breaking down the stories behind the stories, she knows the main characters, but more importantly for us, she knows the deep cuts. Let's see how she does on today's game, though. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I loved that. I think I'm going to steal that.
I got to ask, so Big Brother Canada... So obviously, had you you apply for something like that and you get chosen out of the hundreds or thousands of people that apply? Was this your first reality show application, or were you working trying to get on to something?
It was my first audition for anything outside of theater in high school, which of course I think you can tell immediately that I was a theater kid. But I remember I was living in Calgary at the time, and I told everybody I'm moving to Toronto and I'm going to be on Big Brother Canada. And they were like, I don't think that's kind of how that works. But then I made it with sheer grit and determination. I made it happen, and it was life-changing. And that was a decade ago now, which is wild.
Alex, did you ever try out for any reality shows of any kind?
I don't, not that I can remember. My mom always said that we should try out for Amazing Race Canada. And I'm like, yeah, that'd be fun. And Foley was like, we wouldn't.
You would kill each other 2 legs into the race.
I'm a princess. It'd be like, catch all the fish. I'm like, nah, they're dirty.
Nope.
That's gross. I don't
want
to.
That's why you need to go on, though. You're perfect.
Nope, pass.
I think the only thing I ever tried out, used to be a show. I don't even know. I think it was, I don't even know who ran it, but it was called The Loft. And it was out of Toronto. And it was like a Big Brother, except for nobody got eliminated. Lofters, yes. So I lined up.
Marissa Cox, the host of Big Brother Canada, that's how she got her start.
And that's where I think Jennifer Hedger from TSN also got her start on Lofters. I lined up at 5 o'clock in the morning downtown Toronto, was 12th in line, was ready to go. But by the time they opened doors at 9, I had burned through all my A material and I was just exhausted. And then that season, they took 3 guys. One was named Dan, other was Danny, and then there was Daniel. And I was like, I don't care how interesting these 3 guys are. You don't take 3 people named Danny and put them on the same show. So I refused to watch it. So, but
stop talking about Dan's, Jeff. Bring in our other guest.
Let's talk about John's. Our guest tonight is one of those actors whose face instantly transports you back to some of the most iconic cult films of the 80s and 90s. From dodging zombies in Return of the Living Dead to riding waves alongside surf legends and bank robbers in Point Break, actor, surfer, and certified deep cut himself, please welcome John Philbin. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Are you all in Canada right now?
Yeah, Sarah, you're in Toronto too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Alex and Sarah are directly in Toronto. I'm just outside of Toronto. So we are all enjoying warmer than usual weather finally.
4 degrees
Celsius.
Celsius.
That's great.
Yeah, it's things aren't freezing, things are melting. It's flowers aren't blooming yet, but it's nice. And John, you're on the West Coast. You're California, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm in Sherman Oaks, Los Angeles, California, just Mulholland and Beverly Glen, which is just magnificently beautiful spring day here right now.
Jealous.
I haven't even been outside because I've been doing verticals all vertical auditions all day and little Zoom meetings. And that's why I've got a ring light and a nice shirt on. But it's been, and then after this, like usually I've been to the gym on a motorcycle by now, but maybe later.
Well, we're thrilled to have you here with us. Matt Adler suggested you as a guest. And I got to say, I don't know if you talk to Matt too often, but if you do, please thank him. He was a great guest and I only know him from like an hour and a half meeting that we had here, but like honestly, one of the nicest people I've ever talked to.
Well, you got him then. He definitely came through. I mean, he is one of the nicest people in the world, one of the coolest, nicest men in the world. They don't make him like Matt Adler. And he's a tough get to do, to get to do any of these. I used to invite him to do podcasts, for surf movies, for North Shore and stuff. And he was really hard to get. But he's the one that told me about this and said, you guys were nice and really fun.
I think he had a good time.
Told me about this, and that has never happened before. Well, that speaks highly for you guys. And yeah, you can't say enough good things about Matt Adler.
I'll take word of mouth from Matt Adler over any marketing campaign that Alex and I could afford at this time for sure. I've got my North Shore poster right there.
So. I saw that. It looked like you just tacked one up.
No, it was up. I got it after. I think I got it after Matt came on the show. So.
Yeah,
and even the way we got you, like you don't have a real social media presence or anything like that. So
I left Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, I mean, it's
off social media.
Yeah, so
I was on it, but I'm off it now.
Okay, so yeah, I tracked you down through YouTube. Someone had posted someone had posted a really nice like 10-minute synopsis of North Shore, like just like all the like trivia about it. And so I was watching that. And I was like, oh, this is really interesting. And your wife had left a comment. And it was literally like, John's my husband. And I can't remember what she said, but he loved making this film or something like that. And I was like, oh yeah, he's got a wife. So I went to Instagram. She was there. I messaged her and
are you no way.
Yeah. So that's how yeah. And then, and then she's like, here's John's phone number, which I'm always like, whoa, like I was like, so I have now 3 phone numbers for people in LA that I'm like, all right, Jeff, you
yeah, I mean you can visit.
Yeah, I've got a couch to crash on. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. My phone number is on like websites. It's every, I'm not, hard. I'm really easy to get a hold of actually, compared to Matt.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what to say to that. I'm so proud of my wife, man. She hates surfers and she hates actors. But I don't play those cards first off, no one, that's not the way I present. And
you tricked her.
We fell in love before I heard that she, can't stand actors or surfers. And now she's married to both. And that's just life, man. That's ironic and wonderful.
So I wanted to ask you some questions about the movies and stuff that you've done. There's so many, and I'm like, what is a good question? So I'm gonna jump right into it. So Point Break, a big part of that movie is like, how is Keanu going to fit into this like surf culture and stuff like that? And obviously Gary Busey can't do it because who would buy that? But how true is that? Like, you grew up in California, you grew up surfing. I think you even surfed at college, if I'm not mistaken. So if Alex and I show up in LA, next month and grab a board and head down to the beach, is it like that? Like, is it going to be like are there certain places where you just don't go to surf if you're a newbie kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay.
It's really like that in some places, and some places it's not. And you go on YouTube. Being a kook, which is just a newcomer, is kind of has gotten trendy in Los Angeles right now and California. So being a kook is much more acceptable than it used to be when we made that movie. But now it's kind of a thing because a lot of people that don't surf are learning to surf. In fact, I teach surfing, and my specialty is adult beginners. So I flood the waters with adult beginner kooks, but there are certain spots, and I'll tell them if I see one and we're surfing, I go, you can't ever surf there, and it's a hard concept for some people. They don't own the ocean. I go, no, they don't, but they're going to make it very uncomfortable for you. And I serve the sport of surfing, so it is my due diligence to inform you that I would not tolerate your presence in that lineup. You're not allowed, as long as you know me, to surf in that area, because that area is localized and exclusive to people that know how to surf really well. And they will enforce that little bit of territory with violence and intimidation. no questions asked.
I mean, wow.
So it's real.
Yeah, I had read something today that I think the guy who wrote the movie got the idea for it while he was taking surf lessons, but originally it was supposed to be about skateboarders. And I was like, how ridiculous.
Peter
Yeah.
Iliff, you read an article with Peter Iliff, and he wrote that about skateboarders, and it turned into surfing because he took a surf lesson and there was localism. Is that true?
That it was like 20 facts you didn't know about Point Break. Who knows how true these were, but
Right. Well, I love that story because skateboarders are cool.
yeah.
That's the difference between surfers and skateboarders. I love skateboarders. It's a worldwide global. Hey, you show up at a skate park in Berlin, or anywhere in the world. Hey, you're welcome. Like those guys look gnarly, and they are, but they're welcoming to all skateboarders. All skaters are welcome. They love each other. They're a true brotherhood. Whereas surfers hate each other. I hate surfers. That's what we used to say during Point Break. We love surfing, but we hate surfers.
Oh, really? I wonder if that's why he had to switch it, because he's like, it just doesn't make sense as skateboarders. And also,
it doesn't make sense with skateboarders, but it makes perfect sense with surfers.
Why is that? Why do
like if even you feel that, yeah.
Which part of that is?
I guess just why is it so territorial? Yeah,
it's only territorial in some spots. Because waves are a natural resource, a very limited, finite number of good waves are going to come in a period of an hour or two. Let's say that's your block of surf time. The people that grew up there, had to sit in the channel and watch the older people who are from there, surf the spot and slowly move up. The older people move out. They slowly move into the prime position to catch the waves. If someone comes and hasn't done that, hasn't paid their dues in the water, hasn't cleaned up around the spot, hasn't patrolled the area, made sure people were safe, helped other people in the water, the person they're a good person on land, whatever, or they're not, they're in your gang. I mean, I grew up in a place where there's a gang. I'm not welcome. I got my card pulled. I grew up in Palos Verdes. Matt Adler, right? I told Matt Adler, there's a spot there that's localized, extremely localized. You can't surf there. Sonata Bay. I grew up surfing there. I went and they formed when I moved away from Palos Verdes in 78. So I'm 18 and I'm living somewhere else. I'm traveling, I'm surfing. Santa Barbara, I was on the surf team. I start doing movies and I did North Shore with Matt Adler, but I haven't been back to PV. And he goes, I would love to surf Sonata Bay. And I go, it's localized. You can't. He goes, yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, I would really like to surf it. You grew up there. Can you take me there? Can you take me surfing there? And I go, I could. It's the number one rule. It's just like SAG. You don't work without. I left SAG, by the way, so I could do verticals, which is my future is in verticals for sure. But anyway, the number one rule, you don't bring guests to Palos Verdes. You don't bring guests to Lanada Bay. You can't do it. They had formed a gang, Lanada Bay boys. I'm not in it. I don't smoke pot. I wasn't there to clean up, doing the cleanups. I wasn't there to guard the top of the cliff and hassle. I did growing up. I hassled herms who weren't from there. I did my part. Growing up in a gang that runs a territory, just like any gang, they have rules. I brought Matt. I said, Matt, here's the deal. I'll make you a deal. I will take you to Lanada Bay, and you can surf Lanada Bay. I'll show you the trail, how to get down, how to get out. But if I have to come between you and a local, a physical altercation, if I have to physically come between you and a local, then you owe me anything you have that I want for the rest of your life. And he laughed exactly the way you guys are laughing. And he'll tell you he did not take that seriously. And I meant it because it changed my life forever. I took him down there. I got my card pulled. I got hassled. I've been swung. I've been hit. My bag's been peed on, poured beer on. And I go back there. I get yelled at and abused. And people throw boards and they extort money from me and they punch me. And it's just so unpleasant, right? Like they vandalized my car. I got my card pulled. I'm not allowed to surf there anymore because I broke the number one rule. I brought a guest. Lo and behold, Matt has been very nice to me. He's one of my best friends, but he didn't take it seriously. And he bought a little place. He didn't think I was serious and I was serious. I never said, hey, I need this from you. But I suppose I could for the rest of his life. But I don't, because he's very generous. He's very wealthy. He's very
save it for something you really, really need one day. You're like,
yeah. But yeah, he bought a house, a second house, a surf house down at Point Doom, and he goes down there. He surfs this place that's localized called the Shack, and we walk by it, and I go, "Can we go out there?" He goes, "I can't take you out there because I bought a place. This is just for the guys that live here. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
You're pulling this
Are you
on me?
kidding me saying that to me? My life is, you changed my entire life. I can't go back to the most pristine, best surf spot in California because of you. And you had the nerve to tell me about this shitty, and the place I got kicked out of, best wave in California. The place he says is localized is a shitty little soft wave that anybody can surf, kids, you know. It was really rich to have that experience with them.
So if anything,
And
Point
there,
Break
I'd
feels
say,
like light.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It feels like it's
What
even
does?
more intense in real life than it is in Point Break, I guess, then.
Oh, it's way more in real life. It's way more intense than a movie. You know, that was, you know, that Keanu's so great. That was funny. Those guys are like, you know, in bands and stuff. You know, that was cute. It was adorable. But when you're really getting, you know, threatened and beaten, and your car's getting vandalized, and your stuff is, it just hurts so much. People feel so hurt in their souls. You know, I mean, it hurt me so much. The constant abuse, you know, and how it keeps me up at night, cringing, going, no, oh my God, the humiliation and the deep wound of not being allowed to surf where I grew up surfing. The pain and the humiliation and the anger and the resentment I had against those guys. I would dream about it and it would wake me up. It'd be nightmares. And then I finally just did some inner work on it. It's like I broke the number one rule of the gang. The number one rule: I brought a guest. That's my part in it. And if I thought I was better than them because I travel around the world and surf Pipeline and G-Land, real serious spots where people die, I thought I could bring a friend because I've been in surf movies down to my local spot, and they would go like, "You're an exception, John. You're in the movies. You're a movie star, and that guy's a movie star.
I
You can surf out
I
here."
would have.
But my friend goes, that probably works in your, you know, works against you down there. They're like, oh, we don't want like Laird Hamilton coming down here and stand up paddling into waves and stuff. And I'm like, you don't need to say shit like that. And they're so dumb, but they've got a job to do, and they do it really well. I grew up with those guys I grew up with, taught how to surf, and in that I was better than them. You know, they would watch me surf. They're like, out, beat it.
Well, I wanted to ask you, and like when we had you booked to do the show, and I was looking at Point Break, and I was going to ask a question, and I think from watching the movie, I may have answered my own question, but can you confirm who was a better surfer? Was it Patrick or was it Keanu? Because in my mind, it's Patrick. Like I was like, well, he was a dancer, so he probably has good balance. But I was like, well, Keanu played hockey, so he has good balance too. But there's some shots of Patrick like surfing, and I was like, that looks pretty legit to me. Like the little I know about surfing.
Well, that wasn't. I'm sure if he was surfing, it wasn't Patrick Swayze.
Okay.
You know, he didn't have time to learn how to surf. He had whereas Keanu got to play.
Pretend.
Keanu got to play a beginner.
Yeah.
So we got to show him beginning to surf. Whereas Patrick had to play an expert, and you can tell if someone doesn't surf by the way they paddle.
Okay.
So the only thing he was able to learn how to do really was paddle, and that still, in that amount of time, he couldn't learn how to do it right. He had a thing in his chest that gave, you know, he broke ribs trying to lie on a surfboard. You know, they had to build special boards. They should have come up with this padding. It was before we did a lot of high tech things in surf movies. After that movie, I started working for movies and trying to help them teach actors how to look like surfers for movies. But by that time, you know, Point Break was over. It was after I couldn't get a job as an actor. I was like, I could teach surfing. And my dad's like, is that a job? I'm like, yeah, I'm a surf instructor now. He's like, that's not a job. But anyway, yeah. I mean, Keanu got to surf a little bit. Patrick got to try a lot and paddle a lot, but there's no way he could learn to surf with his schedule and, you know, and look like a pro for 1 second.
Because I think
that was Derek. He had two doubles.
Oh.
Patrick Swayze had two doubles. Derek Dorner, who did the wipe, who's a Hawaiian waterman, did the wipe out at Waimea Bay. Broke ribs too doing that, and did it 6 times for $600. Just unbelievable lore history. And then he had another one, another got a pro surfer named Matt Archibald was his surf double in Point Break. And Matt Archibald is a pro surfer and one of the most beautiful surfers in the world. And that's who you probably saw and went, that guy's great. Well, that's Matt Archibald.
Okay.
Doubling for Patrick Swayze, because you cannot learn to surf in a year. Or a month.
I had read that Patrick broke some ribs, so I was like, oh, maybe he really did get up there and had a nasty spill.
Yeah, he broke his ribs just paddling on a surfboard, going through waves and stuff.
Well-
You know, like his ribs. He's a dancer. He had this kind of rib cage. You get on a surfboard, it's hard, and it just broke his ribs when he would lie down and paddle for it. You know, and it hurts so much. But he would play in pain. That guy there was no one like Patrick Swayze. He played in pain.
Well, I think Patrick and I have a very similar body, so I probably won't try surfing.
Yeah, I've been saying that for years, Jeff. You're a real Patrick Swayze type.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. So blah 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 blah. So I was gonna ask, so you know, you've worked on not only this but we got North Shore, but you also worked I believe you did some training for Blue Crush.
I taught Kate Bosworth how to play a surfer, right?
Yeah.
That was my first good surf instructor job.
And then Soul Surfer, the one with
in Soul Surfer, I have what did I do? Soul Surfer, was that Bethany Hamilton? I'm in that.
I think you're a reporter or something, right?
Yeah. I'm Helen Hunt's surf instructor in Soul Surfer.
Okay.
And I play the Fuel TV recorder. She throws. Like I stopped acting. I was just a surf instructor, hardcore for like 15 years. But I would get these jobs on movies, and Helen Hunt, I taught her how to surf, so she would bring me to Hawaii, let me give surf consulting, and then give me a job as an actor to be in it. And I'd go, yeah, I forgot I was an actor. Yeah, sure, love to.
So back, especially in the 80s and 90s, well, if people are recognizing you, were they coming to you with just Point Break, or was it like they were actually trying to throw surf jargon at you kind of thing?
In the 80s or 90s, if people recognize me, you know, what I do, I go to a lot of horror conventions because I was in some horror movies, and the horror movie, unless I go to a surf place, if I go to a surf place, everybody calls me Turtle.
Okay.
And they go, and he was in Point Break too. Yeah, Turtle was in Point Break is how they look at it. But I am the character of Turtle from North Shore when I go to a surf community, and I'll hear Turtle a lot. But in the rest of the world, when I go to the rest of the world, it is Chuck from Return of the Living Dead, you know, or Amos from Children of the Corn, because the horror community is so huge and loving and great. Surfers are gnarly, man. They're hardcore, man. They don't cut you any slack, man. So I can't get rid of the name Turtle. I used to hate being called Turtle, but now I love it. It just means I was in a movie to touch somebody, you know. but mostly it's horror. That's what I go to conventions for, horror movies. They don't have conventions for surf movies.
No.
Yeah, because everyone's a bro. They want free shit.
I was gonna ask, and this could go for everyone here, but I was kind of doing my Rushmore of best action films from that era, and I think it's very fair to put Point Break, Lethal Weapon, and Die Hard up on that mountain. Is there a fourth movie that kind of fits into that? And this is for anyone. It was just a thought I had, because my wife amazingly said to me last week, I've never seen Point Break. And I was like, how have you never seen, I was like, and then she's seen parts of it, and she's like, I don't really care about surfing. I was like, I mean,
nobody does.
Fine, but it's, it's
great movie.
Yeah. So I don't know. Is there a fourth movie that fits on this wall, Alex?
Cliffhanger. I love Cliffhanger.
On this wall.
Cliffhanger? I don't think so.
I like
one Rennie Harlan flick up there.
I don't think
another Keanu film comes to mind.
Okay.
Is it Speed?
Speed.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Because these are kind of after the Rambo and the Schwarzenegger, where it's one guy defeating 10,000 people because he's a giant, but where it's a more of an everyman who takes on 10,000 people. But yeah, Speed, that's a good one. I wanted to ask you about Point Break. How bad of a shot are you with a shotgun that you...
Thank you. That you and my brother, man.
You're 6 feet away from him, and you miss with a shotgun.
Twice.
Yeah.
I think I missed twice.
Yeah. And I was like...
And he pulls the trigger and gets me in the heart, with the little 38 special.
And you're done. I mean, but shotgun... And,
that is terrible.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that's why Hollywood doesn't do reality. Hollywood does fantasy,
Mm-hmm.
it does fantasy really well. That's a fantasy that I would miss him that close with a shotgun while I'm running at him. It's not reality.
And
it's fantasy but it is my claim to fame, that scene as a surfer, because Gary Busey played the masochist in Big Wednesday. Big Wednesday is my favorite surf movie, and everyone my age and older, Big Wednesday. and Turtle's everyone's favorite movie from that generation, younger people. So Turtle gets killed by the masochist in Point Break, which is really a buddy cop movie, but it's surfers will go see it. It's become a thing. It's become a thing recently. So that's really my claim. It ties all three surf movies together.
One of the guys in your gang, his name is Gromit, and I've read that is a surf slang term. Does that mean something, Gromit?
Yeah, it just means young.
Okay.
Young surfer.
Okay.
Grom.
Okay.
A Grom is a young surfer.
Okay. I was wondering if they worked in something dirty into the movie that we didn't catch, that surfers are like, oh my gosh, they're calling this guy Grom.
He does pull his pants down. They do a nice shot of Gromit's butt. The young guys get all the action because of the butt. But the butt is young. Yeah, Bo Jesse Christopher plays Gromit, and he's a beautiful boy. But it just means young boy.
You know what? I think Matt could have almost played that character too. I'm wondering if he would have been too old at the time for that. But
Matt's such a nice guy. I mean, and Grom is too, but I mean, Bo Jesse is really actually a nice guy. But we were, bank robbers. We were supposed to have an edge.
And there's one more Point Break question. But should Keanu have been given a flag for that tackle he put on Patrick Swayze into the ocean? Because that seemed way out of bounds. Like, he chases him. Every other play in that game is over in about 4 seconds. Like, it's a throw and it's touchdown. That one, they run for like 12 seconds into the waves. And I was like, no wonder everyone got so mad at him.
Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, that was inappropriate, but he's, competitive animal. I heard that scene was, Patrick goes full on even if he's not on camera. Like, he was throwing full ball. I was like, that kind of hurts. We're not even on camera. He just looked at me like, Catherine Bigelow, a woman director for a macho cop, she did this thing, I think ahead of her time. She had the woman's gaze on the male body, and she cast these beautiful actors and had them just take their shirts off all the time. And she would have the female gaze on these men, and these men doing, manly stuff. But from, I don't know who does the female gaze now. It's probably really popular, but she was doing it way before. Like, these men are sexy and we're going to do surfers and they're going to take their clothes off and we're going to think they're sexy and we're going to fall in love with them. And that's why I think some women actually do end up liking Point Break. Not because, like, I showed my wife hadn't seen it. She wouldn't go see a surf movie, but she goes, "You're in Point Break. I want to see it." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I want to see it." It opens up. It shows Keanu in bed or something, close up on his face. She goes, "God, he's good looking." And I'm like, "Honey," she goes, "You're rad in this film. Really, you're fucking rad. You scare me. I don't like you, but your fucking body's rad. But Keanu's so good looking." I went, okay, all right.
Now, obviously, you're working with Keanu when he's very young, and he's not just starting out.
Before he's a movie star.
This is kind of what puts him on the map as a movie star.
This is what gives him a career as a movie star, an action hero.
And for the last 25 years now, people have just talked about, like, what a great guy he is. And now, was he always a great guy, or is it something he kind of learned along the way to?
That's a great question, and I can't answer it. By the time I met him, he wasn't a movie star yet,
but he was a good guy.
He loved his motorcycle. We used to ride motorcycles to the gym. He loved playing his little guitar. He loved music. He was so nice and so sweet. Wasn't a movie star yet, but he was the lead in a big film. He was very busy. I remember giving him a book. He gave it back a day later. And I go, "Oh, you didn't have time to read it." And he goes, "No, I read it." He memorized. He's got a photographic memory. He's always the smartest person in any room he walks into, but he'll never let anyone know that. I think it's ironic that he sounds so dumb, but he's a genius, And the only guy that really, Stephen Colbert has his number. He'll ask him a deep philosophical question, and Keanu will give him a Zen answer. And it'll always be. He just knows. But he's so sweet and so humble and so nice. He's all those things you hear about him, but way much more than that.
Well, I like hearing that.
Very generous.
I like hearing that.
Generous, man.
Did anyone we'll keep claiming him as Canadian. That's
he's a Canadian.
Yeah. We're not all nice, and especially not all nice all the time. Like, but
he is. It's
he
nice
is. He seems to be. Did anybody notice in Roadhouse there's a part where, like, I think Keanu and Gary Busey are talking about tailing Patrick Swayze's character, And at one point he says he went and he had breakfast at Patrick's Roadhouse. And I was like, and I looked up, I think there was a real place called Patrick's Roadhouse.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's open anymore, but I was like, what a weird.
No, it was in the Palisades,
Okay.
and it was a staple, very famous place to get breakfast on PCH, you know.
Okay.
It's very famous, you know, and where they had lunch, where Keanu picks up Lori Petty. That's a very famous place where that fight was. But yeah, Patrick's Roadhouse,
which I was like, oh,
famous.
Patrick Swayze
cool.
was in Roadhouse.
You did say Roadhouse at first. You know, you go, well, that's funny. Yeah. Yes, real funny.
Okay, so before we get into deep cuts, I have one quick little game that's just for you, John. We did this one with Matt, and I think he had fun with it, so I brought it back. I've got 9 of your movies, and I'm just going to go through them 2 at a time. And I just want you to tell me which movie you had more fun doing. It doesn't have to be the better movie or more iconic. Just which movie did you have more fun working on? So we'll get you going. Okay, so we're going to start with The Crew and Grandview, USA.
Grandview, USA.
It's good casting, Grandview, USA. So Grandview, USA, Children of the Corn.
Patrick Swayze's in Grandview, USA.
He is, and John Cusack and Joan Cusack.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes. So Grandview, USA and Children of the Corn.
Grandview, USA.
Right. Grandview, USA and The New Kids.
The New Kids.
Okay. The New Kids or North Shore?
North Shore.
Okay. North Shore or Shy People?
North Shore.
North Shore or Return of the Living Dead?
North Shore by far.
North Shore or Point Break?
North Shore.
North Shore or Tombstone?
That is the closest one, and I'm gonna say North Shore.
Ooh, okay, North Shore, number 1. So what was it about Tombstone then that was made it number 2?
My second.
Yeah.
The cast, right? You know, and I got to hang out with the guy that plays my brothers, Robert Burke. You know, and he's just an exceptionally overtrained, smart, funny actor from New York, and the coolest fucking guy. And we had a lot of time off. We're in the movie every day. We were in the movie. We got there for the read through. We went there through 2 directors into the last day of filming. So hanging out on the set with Powers Booth, you know, and Billy Bob and whatever, Sam Elliott, shooting guns and riding horses and being there for 3 months was off the charts fun for an actor who likes to play cowboy. That's what I was doing. A lot of those guys are cowboys, you know, we go and watch them rope. I'd try to learn how to rope a steer and stuff, but that is different than being a cowboy, you know, but I was always on my horse, always shooting guns. That was really, really a great people. Everyone you looked, or every time you looked around, you saw someone who you'd love to sit and talk to. And that's all we did. You know, if you weren't working, I didn't have to work that much, but I was there the whole time. I had to be there.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. And yeah, we had our guest who was on with Matt last time. She's a huge fan of The New Kids. She was like on, and I have not seen New Kids yet, so I'm gonna have to track that one down somewhere.
Jimmy Spader is amazing in New Kids. It's me and Jimmy Spader, Eric Stoltz, Lori Loughlin, but Jimmy Spader's the man in New Kids, man. He's so good, and it started his career as he could play a villain. He plays a super villain in it. You know, there's one scene so homoerotic. He's wearing these really tight Speedo underwear, and naked under it, and his body is insanely ripped, not an ounce of fat, and just is so sexy. And this other guy, Shannon Presby, breaks into his room at night, strips the blankets off him, you know, puts a gag ball in his mouth and straddles him with a knife. And it's kind of like, I feel uncomfortable right now, man. It was so radical.
New Kids
way back then in the 80s. It made me very uncomfortable.
Okay, well, we have a game of deep cuts to play. So what we do first is I'm going to give all of you the name of an actor or an actress. And all you have to do is try to tell me what you think they're best known for is on the Internet Movie Database. So, John, I don't know if you've looked at your IMDb anytime recently, but I have a feeling it's probably like Point Break, Return of the Living Dead, Tombstone, and something else. So, but I'm going to give you someone that you worked with and you just mentioned. And Sarah, we're going to let you go first, and we'll show John how it's done. So, the actress in question tonight is Jamie Lee Curtis. What do you think her best known for is on IMDb?
Halloween.
Which one?
The first one.
So Halloween 78.
Yes.
All right. John.
Deborah Hill's Halloween.
Okay.
Good.
John, what do you think Jamie Lee Curtis is best known for is on IMDb?
Halloween, the first one.
Can you give me something else? Sarah's already taken Halloween. Do you have anything else for her?
I took the good one.
Okay, then Freaky Friday.
That's a good one.
That's a good
I
one.
almost went Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
Or A Fish Called Wanda.
I'll tell you, Fish Called Wanda's not on our list, but it should be, right? Like,
True.
Yeah. Alex Young,
True Love.
what's yours?
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's a good one too. Well, I'll
Just
tell
'cause
you
she
this.
won for it, so I feel like it's on there.
Number one is True Lies, which
Fair enough.
it should be on the list, whether it's 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Halloween 2018 is number 2. Everything Everywhere All at Once is number 3.
Right.
And Halloween 78 is number 4. So Alex, you're going to get to choose. Would you like to go first, second, or third?
I'll go first.
Alex is going first. Sarah, would you like to go second or third since you were next closest?
I'll go third.
Third for Sarah. And so John, you get to go right in the middle. So that's perfect. So tonight's 3 movies on Deep Cuts the Game are from 1991, Point Break. From 1993, Tombstone. And just to mix it up a little bit, from 1987, Shy People. While the 3 of you think of your deep cuts from those 3 movies, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Hey everyone, I'm Kelly.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are the hosts of the horror podcast Final Girls.
Each episode, we break down the Final Girl blueprint,
what works,
what doesn't,
and what the genre's survival stories say about feminine power and today's cultural context.
So join us every Wednesday as we celebrate the survivors,
dissect the disasters,
and call out every let's go into the basement decision.
See
you there.
We are back with Deep Cuts the Game. We've got a good one going tonight. We've got my co-host Alex Young, Sarah Hanlon, and John Philbin, star of Tombstone, Point Break, all the great surf movies. He's been there. And we are doing Point Break, Tombstone, and Shy People. The films are in tonight's game of Deep Cuts. Alex, you won the IMDb Best Known For game, so you've elected to go first. Who's your deepest cut from any of these 3 movies?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna take one of the ones off the Tombstone roster here. I think he's got one line in it, but I recognize him in the opening scene. Michael Rooker.
Michael Rooker. Yeah, I didn't recognize him in the opening scene, Alex. It wasn't until he showed up later and like wanted to join the gang or whatever. Yeah, Michael Rooker, as everybody would know from Walking Dead and the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, is worth 9 points, Alex. Michael Rooker. Now, John, you are up next. And now I didn't mention this to people off the top, but it is kind of the rule for the game is if you say a person's name and they happen to appear in more than one film, you would get the points for all of those films. So I'll just leave that out there for you, John. Do with that information as you will. Who is your first deep cut from any of these movies?
I'll say Don Swayze in Shy People.
Don Swayze.
Patrick
Yeah, so you've worked with
Swayze.
a lot of the Swayzes. Well, 2 of the Swayzes, but you've worked a lot of your time you've spent working with the Swayzes. So, and he's really good in this one.
Yeah,
Don Swayze. So sorry, Alex. I said Michael Rooker was 9 points. Don Swayze is worth 4 points. So yeah, you're gonna have to go deeper, John. Think about, like you said, think about your Tombstone co-stars and stuff like that.
Okay,
Sarah, it's your turn. You're gonna get 2 in a row. So what are your first 2 deep cuts?
Okay, so I have some where I'm like not quite sure if it's the person. So I'm gonna go confident. I know that Brandon Walsh is in Tombstone.
So
Mr.
Jason Priestley,
yes,
who from 90210 is in, and you feel real bad for him, right?
Is he?
Like,
do you
kind of. He's with the Cowboys, Alex. He's with the main cowboy, and he's wearing glasses, and he's got like a little beard, and he's kind of this like mousy nerdy guy that's like, they were my friends.
But as Doc Holliday pointed out, I think it was, they were making fun of him.
They were making fun of you, but at the end, he does have a change of heart and leaves
He
the
does.
Cowboys.
He does.
So yes, Jason Priestley, another Canadian, for 8 points.
Oh, good. That's good. Point.
Yeah, he I think he's got more screen time than Michael Rooker does at this point in that film. But yeah, Jason Priestley for 8. So Sarah, you get your second. You're doing fine. What's your second deep cut?
Okay, so now I am going to be a little risky because I'm not sure this is actually her.
Okay.
But in Shy People, is the pregnant
like wife, like the sister-in-law? Yeah.
Is that Captain Janeway from Deep Space Nine?
It's not. No. And I don't want to say who it is because
it's someone, right?
She is. She's definitely someone, and she's like she was in a very big movie for people John and my age, kind of in the 80s. She was part of a very big grouping.
I knew it was younger. That's what I was thinking.
I can't think of the actress's name that you're saying. I know who you mean.
Kate Mulgrew.
Kate Mulgrew. Yeah. Kate
yes.
Mulgrew. Yes. No, it's not Kate Mulgrew from Deep Space and a bunch of other things, but it's a good swing.
Thank you.
John.
At least I got Jason Priestley.
John, what is your second deep cut? You can go from any of these movies that you want, and just remember, the deeper you go, the more points you're going to get.
Well, this is just for points. I'm going to say Billy Bob Thornton from Tombstone to see how that does in the point category.
Let's see. This one I had to write down like 30 people because there are so many people. Billy Bob Thornton as the poker dealer for 9 points. So that's a good one.
Good.
Yeah, that's got to be very early Billy Bob Thornton. Like, I don't know. Like, I honestly didn't know who Billy Bob Thornton was until Sling Blade. And I think that's when most people kind of like knew who he was. But this must have been before Sling Blade.
I think he did One False Move, and then he did this, and I saw him on this. I was like, "You're fucking great, man! You're so good in this," you know. But then he did Sling Blade. I got to watch him, and he invited me to a screening. I go, "Are you in this movie?" He goes, "You're not going to recognize me, John."
Are you in it? He's like, I'm in it.
He didn't tell me any. He goes, I am, but you won't recognize me.
Oh wow, that's cool.
That's awesome.
And I didn't for like 10 minutes.
Alex, you get 2 in a row. Your second and your third deep cuts.
I'm gonna take one from Shy People because I really liked this movie. And John, you are excellent in that flick, man. You're really good in that. But I'm gonna take Pruitt Taylor Vince.
Pruitt Taylor
Vince before he's Pa Kent.
Yeah, Pruitt Taylor Vince, a deep cut legend. He's one of those people. I'm like, I think to be a deep cut legend, you need to have 3 names. Like whether it's Pruitt Taylor Vince, W. Earl Brown, Mark Boone Jr., even like William H. Macy is a good one. Like people with 3 names. Taylor Pruitt Vince. My wife did not recognize him. And I'm like, we've seen so many things because he's so much younger and he's got the hair.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's really good in that one. So
that was his first movie.
Was it really?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's worth the same as Don Swayze, Alex, for 4 points for Pruitt Taylor Vince.
That's fair.
I've always liked that guy. He's always, whether he's a big part in a movie, like anytime he's in something, I like him.
Yeah,
he's
like Devil's Candy. You love Devil's Candy.
I did love Devil's Candy. When Shy People came to you, John, I don't know if you like read the script or how it was, but like Alex and Sarah and I were talking about that, like the description of that movie when I started watching it. It's on Tubi. If anybody wants to watch Shy People, it's on Tubi. You can watch it for free. The description of that film was not what I was expecting. Just the turn it took once the cocaine was introduced to the rest of the family, and the very quick, like it became much more deliverancy than I was expecting.
Right. Yeah, when you introduce cocaine to,
it was a good one.
Things change.
The brothers.
Yes. Alex, you got your third deep cut.
I'm gonna follow Sarah's lead here. I'm gonna take a swing that I may or may not be right from Tombstone, but they're in the vaudeville act, and he shows up later as one of the henchmen. But there's a guy in a beard who's like hooting and hollering and firing shots, and I'm 71% sure it's the guy from My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yes,
who's like the getting married. Like
Alex, his name's John Corbett. He's from like Northern Exposure.
Oh yeah,
Sex in the City.
Sex in the City. Yeah, like when you were like,
Aiden.
when you were like, oh, he's from My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I was like, that is the last thing I remembered. I was like Northern Exposure and Sex in the City. Bit of a coward in this movie, if I'm not mistaken. He runs away. But he's a good deep cut. Alex, he's worth 11 points.
Great.
Oh, that's
11 points.
He's worth 11. Yes. I mean, he's I don't know if many people know, like, unless you're a Sex and the City fan, I don't know if people know his name.
Well, I'm gonna swing for the.
All right, go for it,
try to-
John. What do you got? Yeah.
Okay, in Point Break,
Yes.
there's a guy that plays an undercover narcotics agent.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine Bigelow casts him. She also then goes on to cast him in her fantasy LA future movie with Ray Fiennes, who's another one of her regular go-tos. And he is brilliant in this movie of hers. And he's so good in Point Break that he was given a career and a job in the movie Heat with Robert De Niro. And he plays one of the bank robbers in Heat. And then he goes on to get on Celebrity Rehab, where he's literally falling down on drugs and he cannot get sober and dies of drug overdose just last year. And he's just a brilliant actor who drugs and alcohol took him out. And you watch his career go from Point Break to Heat, where he's brilliant, and down to the reality show of Celebrity Rehab or whatever, where it's just like, how is he allowing people to film him? And he needs help. He doesn't need to be exploited, for money on this stupid show.
Talking to Dr. Drew, yeah.
Yeah. And then he just couldn't make it. It got him, and he couldn't make it. Like a lot of people, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Heath Ledger, just great actors who drugs took them out, but they had amazing careers before that.
I've written his name down because you've given me enough information, even but Tom Sizemore, because he's uncredited in Point Break, even though he's got one scene,
yeah.
And he's great as the DEA agent.
So good. She just goes, "This is an actor, you guys. This is intense. Watch this guy." Like, we're like, "Oh, that guy's good. He's really good."
He's worth 12 points, John. So that
there
you go. I mean, yes, like
awesome.
Because
that's deep. That's how you play deep.
That's
cuts.
how you play it. Yeah. All right. Alex, mark that down. 48-18, where he says that's how you play deep cuts. That's our new opening. That's what we're doing. Sarah, you came up empty with Kate Mulgrew from.
So I'm gonna play it.
Can I say what it was?
No, don't. Just save it, just in case somebody needs it. She's not worth a ton of points, but
I won't use it.
Yeah, I mean, unless you get to the last round and you got nothing left. But I feel like you got a lot of names there, John. You're doing good. Sarah, what's your third deep cut?
See, I was just going to say I'll play it safe again, but now I'm not going to.
You need some points. Yeah.
I need the points. Okay, in Shy People, when they go to visit the brother who lives in town, and they walk into the bar, a guy is with two women. Is one of them the Silence of the Lambs captive?
You think Scott Glenn? Is that what we're like? The guy, like Jodie Foster's boss from Silence of the Lambs?
No, the woman who's in the well.
Oh, no!
Who is told to put the lotion on her skin?
No. Sorry.
I'm really. Okay.
I mean, I thought you're so close to like the deepest cut in Shy People.
Oh man, is it that scene?
I think so. I think there's a guy in the bar. I don't know if he has any lines. He has a name, but he's like.
Yes, actually, that name that you said
that's the one. Yeah.
That's
So, Catherine
I'm proud
Martin,
of myself for attempting. So
I can't remember her real. I can't remember her real name. But I know in the movie she's Catherine Martin.
She has that beautiful curly hair.
Yeah,
and I thought that's what I clocked.
And she's been in other stuff since then, but I cannot think of her name off the top of my head. But that's an X. But you do get another one, Sarah. Do you have any?
Okay, so now I'll go safe. I saw Billy Zane. I know that's Billy Zane.
Yeah, that is Billy Zane. I saw his name in the credits, and I was expecting him to be like a cowboy or a gunslinger, but no, he's a thespian with
he's too handsome to be a gunslinger.
Long, luxurious hair.
Yeah.
So Billy Zane, and he killed off screen too. Like what a kick in the teeth that is. Like they just show up and he's been shot through the heart for.
Yeah.
So Billy Zane for 7 points. Because yes, he's very recognizable, but a very small part. So not bad. John, what is your fourth deep cut?
I'm going to see how this does in points, but in Point Break, it's a big part. It's not even a small part. But John C. McGinley's so good in it, and then he got famous on that TV show. So I'm going to say John C. McGinley.
Yeah, he's worth 8 points.
Not bad. Not great.
He always is Wild Hogs police.
Oh, really?
Guy to me, yeah.
I thought I was one night I was thinking about things, and I thought I was so smart that I thought I had figured out that John C. McGinley and Ted McGinley were brothers, but they're not. Because I was like, they both have
Thanks
like
for that. Not a fact, Jeff.
I know, but they both have like this big smile, and they both worked with I can't remember the guy who did Scrubs and now is doing Shrinking. So it's like, oh, they must be brothers, and they've both in TV shows been married to Krista Miller. So I was like, oh, they must be brothers. And I looked it up, and it's like, despite a common misconception, they are not brothers. And I was like, damn it. So it wasn't just me that thought it, Alex. Alex, what is your fourth and your fifth deep cut?
I'm gonna do one from Tombstone. I'm gonna do one from Point Break, but the Point Break is a shot in the dark because it's like a fact that I think I know. Okay. So let me do Tombstone first. Play it safe. But the mayor is I forget his name, but it's John Locke from Lost.
Terry O'Quinn is the actor's name, Alex. Yeah, also from, what is it, Millennium? Was that the TV show he was on? Like so, him and the guy from like Aliens and
Lance
stuff
Henriksen?
Like that. Yeah.
J.J. Abrams shows. Yeah.
Terry O'Quinn for 10 points, Alex. Because I mean, only a couple lines, right? Like he's not in it a lot. Doesn't shoot anyone. So
got a little bowler hat.
Yeah. What's your fifth deep cut then? You were going to go Point Break, which is a fact.
Am I right that Anthony Kiedis is in that movie?
You know he's in it, Alex. Red Hot Chili Peppers plays the character.
I'm often wrong about stuff, though.
Plays the character Tone, I believe is his name. I can't remember what his line is, but he is of that group of guys who are like, you don't surf our beach. And I can't remember what he says to Keanu, but he's got something like
that would be a waste of time.
That's right. That is his line. So he is worth also 10 points, Alex, because he is
what?
I mean, you knew that one too, John.
That's how you play
deep cuts. Right. So, John, it's your fifth deep cut. Like I said, there's somebody who's in all three of these movies that would get you a decent amount of points. But if you want to save that one for later, that's up to you. But what's your fifth deep cut?
In The New Kids, Tom Atkins plays.
So no, okay. So, but we're not doing New Kids though. We can't do.
Oh shit!
So Point Break, Tombstone, and Shy People.
Oh gosh, right.
No worries, no worries.
Well, let's see. I guess I'll try how Thomas Hayden Church from Tombstone does in Deep Cuts math.
He's worth. He's 7 points.
No.
That's still pretty good.
I mean, he's of the Cowboys, the bad guys. They're called the Cowboys. Like, what a horrible name for a group of bandits, Cowboys. I would say he's got kind of like the third amount of screen time, right? Like it would be Powers Booth, Michael Biehn, and then him. He's kind of the loudmouth of the group. So yeah, Thomas Hayden Church for 7 points. Sarah, it's your final 2 deep cuts. You got some points with Billy Zane. What do you have left?
Michael Madsen
listen, I like your moxie.
Break.
You've done some big swings, and I love that. So
thank you. Is it Michael Madsen in Point Break as the?
Are you thinking of the DA agent? That's Tom Sizemore.
Oh, that's the Tom Sizemore.
Yeah, I get it. They do have a similar, but don't worry, we will not count that as a.
That won't count. Okay, good.
That won't count. Yeah.
Okay. The guy in Tombstone who's like the classic cowboy guy with the gray hair and stuff like that. I know him. Obviously, it's not even a lot of points, but I
Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
That was my choice. And I was going to say A Star Is Born guy.
Yes.
And he is in that, right?
And the big Lebowski, he is the.
Oh, right.
He's the narrator that, yeah.
He's the Marlboro man. Thank you for smoking.
That's right. Yeah. He's the pilot, isn't he? And Thank You for Smoking. No, I'm thinking of Up in the Air. Yeah. He is the pilot that gives George Clooney his black card once he's reached like 1,000,000 miles. So Sam Elliott for 4 points.
Okay. Amazing.
All right. What's your final deep cut, Sarah?
No one said Gary Busey, right?
No one has said Gary Busey.
Okay. So it's got to be what, 1 point?
I mean, no, because there's like 1, 1, 2. And Gary Busey is 3.
Okay, yes, I'll take that.
Does he die in that movie? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
He dies, right? Like he.
Yes.
Like he looks pretty shot up in that film at the
And
end.
Keanu's like devastated.
Yeah, but leaves him to go on, and then still somehow keeps his job as an FBI agent. Like, I don't know how Keanu still got a job after this is all shaken out, because he doesn't even catch the guy when he leaves him to get on the plane like that. But yeah,
I know there was a guy who gets punted by Keanu in the final bank robber scene who looks very familiar to me, but I just couldn't place him. So if anybody knows that person, he's giving Aaron Eckhart, but it's not Aaron Eckhart, but I swear it's somebody. It's like the first person who gets kind of like hit when they come into the bank.
Well, we'll see, Sarah. We'll see if anyone's got it. John, it's your final deep cut. How deep can you go, or do you want to just take some easy points?
Like Sarah.
Well, I want to. I think I understand what you mean about going, taking easy points. Is this my final?
This is your final one. So, if there was a person that you could remember that is in all three of these films,
I got to do it because I want to.
You want to win, don't you?
John Philbin had a small part in all three of these.
He does. Like John Philbin has a fairly big part in Shy People, so he's worth 4 points. Same as the other.
Fantastic part.
But
this is good.
He's also in Tombstone with a much smaller part, so he is worth. You're right here. You're worth 10 points for Tombstone.
That's good.
And in Point Break, I would say it's a medium part. Like it's a bigger part, but you're kind of in the background. You're often wearing a president's mask.
He's wearing a mask.
Yeah, so he's worth 8 points there. So that's a total of 22 points for John Philbin on the last round.
As you deserve.
You got to use what you have to get what you want.
Do you have a death scene in Tombstone? Like I was saying to Alex, it was tough because everyone's like dirty and like they're cowboys. So, and like sometimes you're on a horse. Like I know, like you get hit in the head by Kurt Russell.
Yes.
Like he pulls the gun out on you and gives you a knock. And I was like, oh, there's John. I've got him. And then after that, I kind of lose you. Do you get hunted down?
John Philbin plays Tom McClowry, and he gets shot by Doc Holliday in the OK Corral.
Oh, okay. So you're in that shootout where Alex and I were talking about like everyone is horrible at shooting. Like a 1,000 rounds get shot.
You're panicked.
Yeah.
Tom McClowry rears a white horse that rolls up back and almost runs over Val. Val steps away from the horse and aims a shotgun and gut shots John Philbin as Tom McClowry in the OK Corral. 3 cowboys are murdered by the villainous writer Doc Holliday. Murdered in the OK Corral. Tom McClowry, his brother, played by Robert Burke, and one other guy.
Is it Thomas Hayden Church?
I don't know, but we go to Boot Hill. We're buried on Boot Hill.
Oh wow. I mean, I don't think I'd seen this movie since it came out, and I think at the time I was like 17 or so, and I was like kind of like done with cowboys, kind of thing. Like it was just like because you get those little spans where it's like we're gonna do a bunch of westerns, right? So it was like Silverado comes out a few years before this, and you get Tombstone, you get like Unforgiven and stuff like that, and then and then it stops for a bit.
They were doing a bunch.
And then they come back again. But I went back and I really enjoyed Tombstone.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, it was good. Alex, it's your final deep cut, the final deep cut of the game. What do you got?
I'll tell you, Jeff, not a lot. Everything I had on my list, everybody has said. So you guys just said Robert Burke. So is Robert Burke in this movie? Yeah, Robert John Burke, who plays RoboCop in RoboCop 3.
You can do that.
Yeah, and is also known for being in a lot of the Law and Order SV. Like I don't know, but he's in a lot of Law and Order.
So Robert, quick, Alex. That's
John Burke for
nothing.
For 11 points, Alex.
It was like that or Martha.
I mean,
I've definitely lost now.
Well, let's see. So who did we miss here? I like to give everyone a little rundown of what we missed.
Give me my Janeway.
So from Shy People, the actress that you were looking for was Mare Winningham, best known for St. Elmo's Fire. She's like she's the other girl. Yeah. Then there's the other brother who I would not have recognized had I not looked him up, John. But his name was Merritt Buttrick. and he was in all the Star Trek movies, like, or a bunch of the Star Trek movies. And I knew him as a little kid. When I was a little kid, he was in the TV show Square Pegs. But he passed away in like 1990, if I'm not mistaken. Like, he passed away not too long after this film. Let's see. The cabbie that is driving Jill Clayborn to follow her daughter at the very beginning is a New York actor named Jack McGee. You would know from like Moneyball and Rescue Me. When you see him, you'd be like, I know that guy. But the deep cut that I thought you were going for, Sarah, at the bar, there is a guy, I don't know what his name is in the movie, but the actor's name is Edward Bunker. And he was in the movie Reservoir Dogs as Mr. Blue.
Oh, wow.
He's the Reservoir Dog nobody knows, right? Because you got Steve Buscemi and Tim Roth, and there's this older guy with like mustache, and that is Edward Bunker. I think he's Mr. I think he's Mr. Blue, if I'm not mistaken. I think I know everyone's colors. Tombstone. I won't give you the big ones, but we all, Val Kilmer is amazing in this movie and just like, incredible. But Charlton Heston would have been a solid one. They go to him for assistance. He lets them come stay on his ranch for a little bit. Stephen Lang is in this movie, Alex.
Really?
I think he might be the guy. I don't know. Because like I said, some of the times they have facial hair and I can't recognize people, but Stephen Lang is in this movie. Let's see. Harry Carey Jr. from Searchers and the Gremlins movie. Paul Ben Victor I think he's supposed to be like half Mexican, half Spanish, but he doesn't speak Spanish very well, so is a horrible translator.
Right. Jeff, I didn't recognize the voice, but who narrates?
It's Robert Mitchum. Robert Mitchum is the narrator off the top. Frank Stallone supposedly is in this movie somewhere. Yeah. And then an actual guy, he plays a character named Billy Claiborne, is played by a guy whose actual name is Wyatt Earp. And he is like the third grandson of Wyatt Earp. So you could have literally just said Wyatt Earp and got like 18 points because I mean, he's only got like 2 acting credits, like this and a documentary about Wyatt Earp. So
great guy, by the way.
From Point Break. Awesome. The other guys in your crew, you got James LaGrosse, is the guy that gets left at the end there. He dies after they jump out of the plane. And you mentioned, is it Bo Jesse or Bo Jesse Christopher? Yeah. The other members of there's a guy, Chris Peterson, who plays Bunker. He's part of the bad guys. And then Lee Tergesen is Rosie.
Yes,
that would have been a solid deep cut. He's from Oz and Wayne's World, where he essentially looks exactly the same in Wayne's World as he's the guy in the back of the car where they're all rocking out to Bohemian Rhapsody. And then I think you were in did you do some TV show called Young Riders?
Yeah. With Josh.
Yeah, with Josh Brolin. I forgot about that show, but I was like, I must have watched this when I was a kid. But I think he was in a couple episodes. But the kid who sells Keanu his surfboard is an actor named Christopher Pettit or Petite. He was also in Young Riders. I think he passed away as well at like 24. He was the same age as me. The other member of the guys who fight with Anthony Kiedis is this guy named Vincent Klein. He's War Child. Alex, we would have seen him in the movie Cyborg. He's in all those action movies that I think the director's name is Albert Young. Did all these like action movies. That's him. And then the guy who's helping Keanu, like he's a tech guy. The actor's name is Ping Wu. And I know him from Seinfeld. He is like the delivery guy that he plays a character named Ping. But it was a good game. Let's see the final points here. I did not write them up as we were going along. Alex, let's do Sarah first. We can do the sorry.
Let's
Sarah,
add those few points up.
Sarah, you got 22, so you're not the worst. That's not bad.
It's not the worst score on deep cuts, is what you're
It's not. Someone scored 7 this season, so that's 22 is respectable.
I have to say, watching these films and not being able to look like to be watching with a particular eye as to where I've seen these people before and then not be able to look it up, I have to say it was not a pleasant experience.
It hurts, doesn't it? You're like, why do I know that person? Like normally you would pause and you'd like look it up, but you're like, can't do that.
It was torture, but fun, honestly. It was really fun, and it does make you realize just how many people it takes to, like, make an incredible film like this, and it really makes you pay attention to the performances. So I really appreciate it.
And not
I
just
had a
like
lot
the
of fun.
4 or 5 people that are like sometimes on the poster, but like the people who are like, like the movies. Point Break is great, but not just because of Keanu and Patrick, but right, like like Tom Sizemore comes out of nowhere and crushes it, right? So
Yeah, incredible stuff.
55 points for Alex.
Oh, okay.
John, 13, 25, 33, 40, 62.
Okay,
Thanks to that 22-point deep cut John Philbin at the end. So John, what we did, so Matt won last time, and unfortunately we then burdened them with all we're looking for is a suggestion of someone who you think might make a good future Deep Cuts guest. Anyone in your horror world, or I know there's not a lot of surfer, conventions or anything.
Yes, I've got a great one. Okay. His name is Courtney Gaines.
I've talked to Courtney, and we were very close to having him on. And then I think he was doing some stuff with his album, and then Christmas happened, and
right.
But yeah, Courtney from
Children of the Corn, but he's been in so many movies, small part in so many movies. He would win this.
Oh, The Burbs.
Yeah.
Can't Buy Me Love. Colors. Oh my gosh, yes, Colors.
Fuck, he's great in Colors. He's in a lot of movies.
All right, I'll reach back out to him. We've talked, we've been close, and then just schedules don't line up.
He'd be great in this. And also the other guy in Children of the Corn, his name is John Franklin.
Yep.
You know the movies he's been in? Like he's been in a lot of movies,
Tammy and the T-Rex.
I love him.
Yeah, and he's also Cousin It.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that'd be a great one. I'll reach out to both of them. Thanks very much. And I'll tell them that you put this burden on them.
Please do.
John, I know, I don't know if you're allowed to talk about it, but I know you were doing some work overseas and you just got back, luckily enough for us, back in time to join us here on the show. Is there anything you can tell us about, like, that you got coming up?
Yeah, it's in Yugoslavia. And a friend of mine, Bobby Altman, the director's son. Bobby Altman is a director and a great DP, though. He DPs this movie in Istanbul, and he called me, he goes, "Hey, we need an American actor to play a priest. Can you come to Istanbul tonight?" And I said, "Yes." And I flew there and I played a priest, and in a horror movie that these guys shoot these movies, and no one speaks English except for me and Bobby Altman and this other actress who's great. And we just do these things. They just give them the lines. We're reading them off our phones, and then we say them, like it's insane.
Wow.
But I was in Istanbul. It was really fun. I think it's called something 3, The Spell 3. It has a gala opening in Istanbul. I don't know, in 2 months. I mean, they shoot them and the guy distributes them. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
So that's going to be fun. But my future is going to be in verticals. I'm over there and he goes, "You want to do a BDSM vertical?" And I go, "I don't even know what that means." And so now verticals and I came home and I go, "I want to do verticals," which are really low budget, soap opera, kind of like, non-union. I left SAG, so now I can do non-union horror movies. That's what I want to do. And that's what these verticals are. They're like soft porn kind of horror, but I want to do them.
Cool.
That sounds great.
So the reason I'm dressed in an office with a ring light is because I did 2 vertical auditions today.
Well,
some actors would be ashamed to say that, but I'm proud.
Dude, man, you're working. You're doing what you love, and
it's fun.
I
couldn't get a job I stopped acting for 20 years. Now I just started again, and it's just for fun, and it is a fun thing to do. And when you take me back with this nostalgia stuff, I think, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I worked with that guy.
Well, that's why we love having guests like you and Matt, and like just the movies like we.
I'm not like that.
Oh, I don't know.
Matt's a nice guy.
No, you were great, John. You were excellent. Thank you very much. Sarah, I know you're on Instagram. That's where we connected. You sought us out. Somebody put you onto our, gave you the lead of our podcast, and you reached out wanting to be on it, which is not a first for us, but it's pretty close to a first. So thanks for being here. Where can people find you?
Yes, find me online. I'm at Flats Hanlon on everything. I'm the pop culture scholar on YouTube. I do, celebrity interviews and red carpet stuff, and I just have fun. When I heard the concept of this game, immediately reached out, and I need to come back because this is not indicative of my level of performance that I can bring. Okay.
No, we would love to have you back on, Sarah. It was great.
And I have to take a moment to thank John. Honestly, the highlight was your performance in these. Your performance in Shy People, it actually really moved me, and incredible. Like, I was blown away. And so again, I thank you all for this like special treat to do these deep dives. It was a highlight of my last couple weeks.
Yeah, you're not going to
Thank you
get this
so
from Timothy Chalamet. He's not going to give you a deep cut dive into like his early work or anything like that. It's going to be, yeah, no. This was a fun one. Alex, where can people find you?
I'm going to see my time because I have one final question for John.
Oh yeah, bring it.
Which you had said North Shore was your most fun to work on, and I'm curious why that is.
I am a surfer, obviously, from that whole angry localism thing. I grew up surfing, and when I read a script about a surfer that surfs pipeline, which is the best, most sought after experience for in a surfer's world would be to surf this one spot. My character gets to go out there in character and surf a wave at pipeline. I knew I'd be surrounded by my legends. I go to the set, and the guys I'm having lunch with are the guys who are on the posters in my growing up. I mean, my heroes. So I'm not only in the Mecca of surfing, the place I visited, but I get to be helped by these guys to do the apex thing as a surfer, but I'm also acting in a feature film that they're filming with the best cinematographers. So as an actor and a surfer, to get to play that character on the North Shore, which is the coolest place in the world if you're a surfer, and I got to meet Matt Adler. And so and befriend Matt Adler. We're best friends to this day. The nicest guy in the whole world is Matt Adler. And I got to hang out with him, surf pipeline, and hang out with Laird Hamilton and Jerry Lopez and Derek Dorn and all the greatest surfers in the world. So to me, even though Tombstone were the greatest cowboys, I love horses and guns, and but I'm not a cowboy. I am a surfer. So to me, North Shore, you can't beat it. It's the best experience I've ever had in film.
Excellent. Perfect.
You look like your cat. It's so beautiful to see you and your cat together, Alex.
That was a great answer. Alex, okay, so you've ceded your time. This is the part where Alex sends me an outro that I have to read sight unseen. Are there notes, Alex? I want to predict. You're either going to make me talk like a cowboy or talk like a surfer and embarrass the shit out of me in front of John.
So I thought the surfer might be offensive. So we didn't do that.
Thank you.
But you were pretty much right on the money for the cowboy. But specifically, I want you to give me your best Sam Elliott. I don't think that's an impression you have.
I don't think
it's going to be fun.
I don't think that's something someone can easily do to their voice.
Bradley Cooper cat. Literally a line in the Star
Bradley
Wars
Cooper can.
Oh, my voice. Yeah, do that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bradley Cooper, Academy Award-winning actor, is able to do a Sam Elliott impersonation.
Oh, I made it shorter for you because I thought this would be a challenge.
All right, here we go. I'm trying to think of the Big Lebowski. Well, I reckon that's about all the trail we can cover for one day. The sun's dipping low, painting the rim rock in colors a man can't hardly describe without sounding like a poet. And I ain't ever been much for poetry. My kindest regards to John Philbin and Sarah Hanlon for taking the time to chat with us while much obliged. And thanks to you listeners for joining us. Be sure to follow Deep Cuts anywhere you get your podcasts. Now I'm going to go see about a glass of sarsaparilla and a quiet spot to watch the stars come out. Take it easy out there, partners. Thanks, everyone. See you next week.
Yep.